So I wanted to do a informal rant for all my ladies out there. And I wanted to talk a little bit about our period and menstrual cramping and menstrual syndrome, so your PMS and all of that stuff, the symptoms. So I wanted to talk about it because I was just thinking out loud and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So a few days ago, I was about to leave my house and I realized that I got my period. Now, instantly, the first thought you're going to have is, okay, I'm leaving the house and I'm going to have all these symptoms of pain and cramping and leg pain, back pain, knee pain, all the pains that's going to come up because it's your first day of your period. I had that thought, but then immediately I said, hey, I spoke to my subconscious mind and I said, how about this time? Let's just try to experiment and see if we can go through our entire period cycle without even a single, not even a single minute slightest sensation that you have your period. No pain, no cramping, no nothing. Pure, calm, peaceful period. Let's see if that's possible. So I told my subconscious mind, I gave it the instruction and I continued. I left the house. I had no sensation of period cramping, nothing. I got back home, no sensation. I slept, no sensation. I slept perfectly the whole night. I woke up expecting some pain, some cramping, nothing, there was no sensation. Many days went past, still no sensation. The only thing I knew was that I was on my period, but there was no cramping, no pain at all. It was purely peaceful. So that got me thinking about something. I began to think about the fact that if my subconscious mind could completely delete the sensations that come with the period, is our period sensations totally biological, or is it that our negative thoughts and emotions around our period, does that affect the way that we feel during our period? Now, I'm sure there's a biological reason why we cramp so much, but the very fact that I could silence that cramping is making me wonder, what if we as a society, instead of getting irritated or angry at the fact that we have this monthly visitor, instead of doing that, what if we decided to embrace our period experience? What if we decided to embrace the sensations and the feelings and things that come with that period experience instead of fighting it? Now, the reason I'm saying this, it'll all make sense in a bit. You see how all of us as women, we're all talking about self-love, 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 but we are for some reason very strongly denying this part of our experiences in our womanhood, which is our periods, right? We deny it. In India especially, we when we buy the sanitary napkins, we don't have tampons. I mean, we have tampons, but Indians don't use it. Majority don't use it for social reasons. But when you buy whatever, okay, your period, your sanitary napkins, in India especially, we cover it with newspaper and then put it in a black bag, and then it's like something that we don't embrace at all as a culture. And what happens is that if you look at any YouTube video online about periods, it's this passive aggressive energy around it. Everybody's complaining, everybody's denying, hating on this part that is going to happen to us every month anyway, right? So my proposition is, instead of getting irritated and angry, why don't we love ourselves fully as women and embrace our period fully? Why not? Anyway, we're going to have it every month. Why not we just become friends with it and embrace it? So I did this experiment with myself a couple of months ago, where I decided, what would it be like to have your 5, 6, 7 days of your period, totally falling in love with every cramp, every pain, and just totally embracing it. And what I concluded at the time was that those 5 days of my period was so peaceful. Did I have cramping at the time? Yes. But there was no emotional suffering around it. There was no emotional stress around it. There was no stress around those 5 days because my mind was not fighting the experience. It was embracing the experience. So a client of mine, I had this conversation with her yesterday. And she is this, science girl. She's doing a PhD and stuff. And she told me that back in the day when she's got her first period, she was so interested in understanding how the body works. She was so impressed by the whole period experience because it's so beautiful and complicated that the body can actually do this stuff, that she started looking forward to her periods to try to feel it and understand what is going on. And she has never had a crazy period pain experience ever, because I don't know, this is my hypothesis, that I feel when you can embrace the period experience, the level of mental and physical suffering can go further down than when you don't experience it and you're complaining about it and you're allowing all that to take you down. Now that brings us to PMS, right? In my opinion, and I think Eckhart also has spoken about this before, is that PMS is something that all your unconsciousness, all the inner chaos comes up at that time for you to heal before you enter the creation process. The creation process is not just creating a baby. You can use, by the way, that's another thing, energy, whether like sexual energy, whether that energy is used to create a baby or used to create a product or manifest things or whatever, it's a creation energy, it's energy. Now, if you're going to create something, you don't want to bring your negativity into that child or into whatever you're creating. So the PMS and all these inner hormonal stuff happens, in my opinion, for us to release it using mindfulness or whatever emotional release techniques you use, to finally be free of those programs and that data, so we don't add it into the next moon cycle, into the next lunar cycle, which is a 28-day cycle. This is what I believe. So I think our period is more of a spiritual experience than a negative experience. I also believe that the reason why during that time, day 25, 26, 27, 28, before our period begins, I feel that there are those days are the times where you don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like being externally focused. You feel like going inside and being quiet and doing nothing. I think that also has a spiritual significance, because those are the days where your PMS is also crazy and you don't feel like doing anything outside. Maybe that is your body's sign to tell you to switch off the external world, go back inside and start doing some self-reflection and healing. This is what I believe, but I'm not teaching you anything, this is just what I wanted to say. I just think that maybe we can all experiment as women and see what would our lives be like and our period cycles feel like and be like if we ended up falling in love with that process and embracing that process instead of rejecting it as a society, and as women, instead of getting annoyed at it, start finding the gifts even in that experience. So I don't know if I imparted any value to you, but I feel like this is something I wanted to share, and let's do that experiment and see how that works out. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I will see you again very soon. I love you all. Namaste.